So in 8.4, we're going to look at multiplying and dividing rational expressions. And rational expressions are basically just expressions that are fractions. So rational meaning you can write it as a fraction. So we're going to start this idea with just playing with fractions, something we're pretty familiar with. So to multiply fractions or to multiply rational expressions, you just multiply numerator by numerator and denominator by denominator. This is kind of middle school level stuff, but we're going to make it a little more complicated in a second. But to multiply 2 over x by 3 over 5, you just do 2 times 3 over 5 times x. To divide, we know we have to multiply by the reciprocal. Dividing is the same thing as multiplying by the reciprocal. So 2 over x divided by 3 over 5 is the same thing as 2 over x times 5 over 3, which in this case is 10 over 3x. And then just a quick note, when you're done, make sure your fraction is completely simplified. So if like this was a 9 on top, we would simplify and cancel out a factor of 3 on top and on bottom. So the rest of this video is basically just playing with this idea. Some of them obviously get a little trickier. So let's try this one. 2x over 15x squared times 3x cubed over x squared. We're multiplying. So we can multiply straight across. The other thing you can do, and I wouldn't stop anybody from doing this, is you can simplify if you see things that cancel right away. You can do that right away. You really can do that in any order. I'm going to choose, in this case, to just multiply straight across like we did the fractions for this one. So 2x times 3x cubed is 6x to the fourth over 15x to the fourth. Well, we notice we have 4x's on top and on bottom, so those are basically just going to cancel out, which is cool. So then we're left with 6 over 15, and then we can simplify this fraction since 3 goes into both as 2 over 5. Let's try this one. For this one, instead of multiplying, I'm going to do some simplifying right away. So we have 24x squared over 5 times 1 over 8x. I know that 8 goes into 24 3 times. So I'm going to do that simplifying right away, just because I can. I know that x and x squared, we can cancel one of those x's out, and it cancels out 1 on top. So on top, we're left with 3x over 5. So I'm just illustrating that you can cancel before you multiply, or you can multiply and then cancel like we did here. It doesn't technically matter. You could have done 24x squared over 40x and got to the exact same place if you multiplied across, then multiplied across. So in general, if you have expressions that are a little more complicated, it's always going to be a good idea to change addition or subtraction into multiplication. So if you can factor, sorry, my fridge is loud. If you can factor, do that first and then see what cancels or simplifies. So if we have 4x over x squared plus 4x plus 3 times x plus 1, I'm going to go ahead and factor the bottom here as x plus 1 times x plus 3, since 1 and 3 multiply to 3 and 1 and 3 add to 4, times, and I'm going to write this as a fraction just because I can, x plus 1 over 1. And then we can see pretty clearly that our x plus 1s are going to cancel, and we're left with 4x over x plus 3. And now we have to have this conversation. It's probably the biggest conversation of the section. We cannot cancel this x with that x. We can't cancel them because on bottom, we're not multiplying by x. It's x plus 3. So if it's helpful for you, put parentheses around this quantity, x plus 3. Don't just go willy-nilly and start canceling every x that you see if you see one on top and on bottom. The only time you can cancel or simplify is when you're multiplying. Okay, we're going to see this a few more times, but it's one of the trickier parts of this whole section. Let's do this one. X over x squared minus 25 times x minus 5 over x plus 5. We're going to factor down here first. We have a difference of squares. So x plus 5 times x minus 5 times x minus 5 over x plus 5. Nothing changing over there. And then what can cancel? Well, x minus 5 and x minus 5 for sure. So we're left with an x on top And then on bottom, we're left with x plus 5 times x plus 5. You really can't simplify more, so I'm just going to write this as x plus 5 squared. And if you FOILed all that out, more power to you. I don't think we need to here. I think it's easier just to leave it in factored form. So now we're going to do some division. Pretty much the same game, only remember we're going to multiply by the reciprocal to start. So 4n over n plus 5 times n plus 5 over n minus 9. Our n plus 5s are going to cancel, so we're left with 4n over n minus 9. This is where I would ask, can we just cancel out these n's? And hopefully you would answer, no, we absolutely cannot, because we're subtracting 9. So we would leave our final answer like that. If you want to pause the video and just try this one on your own and see how you do, it might not be a bad idea. But otherwise, we're just going to fire away at it. X over, I'm going to go ahead and factor down there, factor out a 2. 4 minus x. And then we're going to multiply by the reciprocal, which is 4 minus x over 2x. We're going to notice that we have a 4 minus x that cancels. So then we have x over 4x. 2 times 2 gets us that 4. And then our x's cancel. And when you have nothing left on top, you just put a 1. So this whole big gross expression just simplifies to 1 over 4. Okay, if you want to be done watching, we really have nothing new. I am going to continue the video and just do more examples for people who want more examples, but we are more or less done with the section in 8.4. So just some more practice dividing. For those of you who are still with me, we'll factor up here first. X minus 3 times x minus 1 over 2x. Times the reciprocal 2 over x minus 1. We're seeing the x minus 1s are going to cancel. The 2's are also going to cancel. So I'll cross those out. We're left with x minus 3 over x, and we're going to have to stop there because we can't just cancel out the x's because up here we're not multiplying. But that's the simplified form here. Let's keep going. Let's factor down there, 3x over x minus 6 times x plus 4 times the reciprocal x minus 6. And I'm going to go ahead and do two things at once. I'm going to flip this and factor it. So I'm going to take out a 3x, and I'm left with 2x plus 3. Let's see what cancels. X minus 6 does, 3x does. If we're left with nothing on top, we just put a 1. X plus 4 times 2x plus 3 on bottom, and we can stop there. I'm going to do one more quick page just for fun, knock out a couple quick ones. I'm going to do these two actually, more interesting. So 2 times x minus 5 over x times 3 over x minus 5. X minus 5's cancel, you're left with 6 over x. Boom, done. Last example for the video, we have x plus 6 times x plus 1 when we factor that over 2. Multiply by the reciprocal, 3 over x plus 1. X plus 1's cancel. We're left with 3 times x plus 6 over 2. And we're all done. And that's it for 8.4. Main takeaway today is just don't cancel things that you can't cancel. You only cancel when things are being multiplied. All right, that's it.